log, stardate 3210, just before tea time. Our mission to prove that there's life after school, to look at a galaxy of games, to meet the stars of Silicon, to discover what's new in Microland. This is Prune, your friendly used computer, and these are the voyages of the Magic Micro Mission. Captain, do pay attention. Stop playing. The Earthlings have arrived. Look.
What? There's no one there. I can't see anybody at all. What are you talking about?
It might help if you remove the lens cap, dummy.
By Jupiter!
What is it, Captain?
It's a planet. No, seriously. There's some strange creature in our midst.
What, apart from yourself?
No, it's getting closer. It's getting too... There it is, got it. Oh, welcome aboard. Are you with the mission?
We are in the mission!
Great! Well, then meet Egghead.
Did you know that I put Egghead into a black hole? More later. Hello, Joe.
Hello, Prune.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Oh, mustn't grumble. My bites are a bit sore and my chips have gone soggy, but no, I mustn't complain.
Well, as it happens, Prune, there's nothing to worry about, because on this mission, we've got Allenwell Comprehensive School from Walsall. And Harrington Junior School from Nottingham.
Now, what are you playing with, Captain? Show, Prune.
Just polishing my Magic Micro Mission badge.
Oh, isn't that nice? Do you know, I think all the Earthlings down below on the Earth would like one of those. Where did you get it from?
I bought it.
Oh, well, I've got a much better idea. If they wrote into Central Television, they'd probably get one for free.
For free?
Yes. Oh, and we've got a silicon superstar waiting to get beamed up. And I must say, he's a bit classy. He's state-of-the-art. He's the Astronomer Royal. He's Professor Graham Smith.
Right, now it's time to find out what games our famous five are looking at.
And Robin's just itching to play Ant Attack on his Spectrum.
And Mandy's playing Hover Bover on her Commodore 64.
Julia's road testing the Lone Raider on the latest Atari, the Atari 600 XL.
And Leslie's playing Necromancer on his Atari 800. And Stephen's doing something slightly unusual. He's looking at a computerised magazine, which he's playing on the Spectrum. By the way, Prune?
Yes?
I still haven't seen Egghead. Where is he?
Well, I've put him in a black hole in Quadrant 4.
Eh?
It's all right, it doesn't hurt. Quadrant 4 is where the first Intergalactic News Conference is taking place. Take a look.
Oh, dear, oh dear, where in space am I? Oh, aliens! I'm Egghead, and I'm with the Magic Micro Mission, but what are you doing here?
I'm the Chief, and we're trying to have an editorial meeting here for our computer magazine.
Oh, hello, Chief. What do I call you, sir?
Chief.
Chief, right,
Yes.
Chief, thank you. And is this your electronic school magazine, the
Yes.
world's first, the first in the universe?
Yes, it is.
And is this the list of contents here?
Yes.
And what sort of things have you got inside it?
A records quiz, poems, writing about the first day of school, jokes, horror story.
It's
Lots
very
of things.
varied, isn't it? It's an amazing number of things in there. Who writes this sort of thing?
Anyone.
All the
pupils at
different people
school.
in the school.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Can we have a look at one of the things?
Yes.
How about looking at the profile of a teacher? That
Okay.
looks rather exciting. Ah, Miss Greenrod. Well known, I believe. Yes, here we...
Yes,
Height
biology
5'4". Look at her fantasy. Riding horses on the beach. All sorts of amazing things. Ambition to be remembered. I'm sure she will after this. Goodness me. Where do you get this information from?
This was got from the actual teachers.
And you didn't have to force them to do this.
No.
They interviewed
No.
properly.
I think they'd rather have the proper information than made up.
That's incredible. So it's a lot of nice information for people in the school, but other schools must be interested too. I mean, can other schools get this magazine?
Other schools can get it, and anyone in the country,
Anyone in the country, and how do they do that?
by joining Club 403 and dialing up the correct page.
And then that goes through the Prestel system,
That
is
goes
that
through
right?
Prestel, yeah.
That's really amazing. Well, that's an extraordinary structure, but how did all this start? How did you do this?
It started when we got a Prestel television at school. An English teacher was away, and in a cover lesson, work was set to write material for Computer magazine.
Gosh, and do you have to be a computer boffin to do this?
Anyone can write the articles for the magazine.
Well, I mean, it seems very surprising. I mean, the graphics on computers are very difficult and extremely technical. I mean, how do you do graphics and things like that?
Well, if Brian brings the picture.
Yes.
Ah, this alien's called Brian.
Yes, this alien's
Ah, hello,
called
Brian.
Hello.
And what happens here? What's
Well,
this?
the picture is firstly drawn onto a grid.
That's a piece of graph paper, is it?
Yes, and it represents a screen. And then line by line, it is typed in.
And you just type those symbols in
Just
that
type the
correspond to
symbols
those?
in,
That's very good. So you would need one technical person. That's why you're the chief, presumably,
Yes,
is it, to do
yes.
that? And then it all goes in. Well, that's really amazing. Well, what exactly are you planning for your next issue?
Well, the next issue we thought we'd have an article on how we were stuck in a black hole on the Magic Micro mission. Here's the logo we've done.
Oh, that's very nice, but it reminds me. It's been very super user-friendly seeing you, but I really must be getting out of this black hole. Prune, please beam me up. Prune?
All in good time, egghead. I want to watch a video called Microkid.
Microkid with mega thoughts. He is real, he is here, he is fashionable. Microkid speaks digital. If you hear what he says, it's acceptable.
Yeah, that was level 42 with Microkid, and here's Joe with another Microkid.
If you're a regular viewer of the Magic Micro Mission, then you'll already know that at the beginning of each show, we show different phases of the Magic Micro Mission computer game. Well, Simon Goodwin from Tewkesbury actually programmed that game, and we've beamed him aboard today with some very exciting news.
Well, while you've been watching the titles, you've probably decided that you could play the game rather better than we can here at Central. Well, if you think so, you'll get your chance quite soon to find out, because versions of the game have been written for most of the popular home computers, so you'll actually be able to take it home and control your own TV programme.
And what's the idea of the game?
Well, it's fairly complicated, really, but it's the usual kind of space thing. You're flying along through space, and all of a sudden you realise there's some terrible bug going on the Magic Micro itself, which is deep down on some planet Centralvania or something like that. You go in through space, find your way in past a whole load of aliens who are just beetling about in the way aliens do, zap them, and you get actually into the Magic Micro itself. The trick then is to find out which of the chips is malfunctioning, zoom around the inside of the computer, and trap down the appropriate one. Then you fix the Magic Micro, the world is your oyster, and possibly space as well.
Well, I must say I know one person who'll be very interested in that game. Captain?
Absolutely right. Sounds fantastic. Can't wait to see it. And I can't wait to see Will Powers here in a jiffy.
No, never mind your lack of willpower. I'm waiting to see His Highness the Astronomer Royal. But look out! There's an enormous lump of sails tide coming straight at us from deeper space. Hang on to your peripherals!
The new DFS first ever sale starts 10 a.m. Boxing Day with hundreds of opening day savings. First come, first serve for unbeatable bargains like beanbags from £1. The kids will love them. One-off bargains include this real leather Chesterfield, £95. Superb 5-piece group, £50. This luxury lounge suite sale price, £149. Every single price is slashed. Be early and really save. Our first ever sale starts 10 a.m. Boxing Day at the new DFS, Darley Dale near Matlock, and now Tamworth Road, Measham.
This is the only map I've ever needed, Duncan. Canada Dry. Here's one ginger ale that always finds the spot.
Canada Dry. Are you on the map?
Didn't we have a lovely time, those anchored days of childhood? Out on a bike with someone you like, Babs and Dudley getting cuddly.
Anchor butter. The sheer taste of it makes your heart melt. Nothing else like it. That's why you've always had a soft spot for it.
Yes, that's what we've got. We've all got a soft spot for that Anchor taste.
We've all got a soft spot for Anchor. Always have had.
We're having turkey for Christmas, and so are you, Poppy.
Turkey from Catamite. It shows how much you care. In Birmingham city centre on Tuesdays, Fridays and Saturdays you'll find the Row and the Flea Markets. The Row Market has a huge selection of teenage fashion wear, including shoes, handbags and cosmetics. The Flea Market gives you arts and crafts and second-hand goods of all descriptions. Easy access into the city and easy parking nearby helps make it more convenient for you to visit our friendly stalls. And from Tuesday the 13th of December until Christmas, we're open 6 days a week. Come along and see for yourself. We're next to the Rag Market and behind St Martin's Church, Birmingham city centre.
Now from Everready, a new long-life alkaline battery with sealed-in power. Gold Seal. In independent tests, Gold Seal achieved astonishing averages. It played an electronic game for 315 hours. Gold Seal powered a motor-wind camera through 7,300 exposures and drove a stereo cassette player non-stop for over 50 hours. Gold Seal from Everready. Even more power to the people.
And now it's one of the big moments that I've all been waiting for.
Oh, good. You mean it's His Grace the Astronomer Royal coming on?
No, it's one of the first pop videos that uses computer graphics, and it was done in New York at the Institute of Technology. It's Will Powers with Smile!
Influence the outside, make the outside influence the inside. Act the way you want to feel. If you want to be happy, start now. A smile makes someone who's mad not mad. A smile makes someone who's sad not sad. A smile makes good people out of the bad. A smile is an asset you always had. It can bring you back from the end of the world. Pick you up when you feel down. Put you in touch with your fellow man. Take an ugly situation and turn it around. Just
Dear, what an experience. What a terrible thing to happen to me. Oh, Professor Smith, the Astronomer Royal. I'm delighted to meet you, sir. I've always wanted to have a real scientist.
Hello, Your Majesty. Can I say how honoured we all are to have you Highness visit our humble little ship?
Stop crawling, Prune. Professor Smith, perhaps you'd explain to Prune just what an Astronomer Royal actually is.
Well, the Astronomer Royal used to run the Royal Greenwich Observatory, and that was to find out how to navigate over the oceans by looking at the stars. These days, I'm a radio astronomer, not an optical astronomer, and I don't work at Greenwich at all.
Oh, where do you work then?
I work at Jodrell Bank with
marvellous.
the radio telescopes there.
Now, what exactly is a radio telescope? How's it different?
Oh, well, radio telescopes work very much the same way as optical telescopes, but they pick up radio waves instead of optical. So you don't actually look through them, you connect them to a radio receiver and a computer, and you record whatever it is that comes in at the telescope.
Can you see any kind of pictures from them at all?
Not really, no. No, you can listen to them, it makes a hissing sound, you can draw graphs on paper, and so forth.
Now, one of the big questions in astronomy is there life elsewhere in the universe? And,
yes, you're talking about SETI, the Search for Extra-Terrestrial Intelligence.
And this is one of your specialist areas,
Well,
isn't
it has been over the last few weeks, because we've had some friends from America who brought a special radio receiver to hitch onto our telescope to see if they can pick up radio signals from outer space.
A few years ago, we had actually probes that looked for life in the solar system. They didn't find anything, but some spacecraft have gone out of the solar system carrying messages for other races, I believe. This kind of message, I understand. Is there any chance of a message in a bottle like this getting through to anyone, do you think?
Well, if you wait long enough, like 100,000 years, it might get within reach of another civilization, but that's not really the way to communicate in the galaxy.
Oh, well, so what's the right way to do it, do you think?
Radio waves, of course, my own speciality. If you really want to communicate over a long distance, it turns out that sending messages in bottles is no good, sending light signals is no good, but radio may conceivably work.
And what sort of wavelengths would you tune into, do you think?
Oh, well, the one that's most popular is about 20 centimetres, about this sort of size. You know, this television programme's going out on a radio wavelength of about that size. We use a bit shorter.
Receiving it.
Well,
so where should we actually be looking for intelligent life?
You could look at stars like Vega. You know, that's the bright star you see in the autumn nearly overhead. But not much chance, I think. You've really got to search...
the solar system had been discovered.
Well, it might have a solar system. Yes, it's a very good chance. But I think that the chance of there actually being life there is pretty small. You've got to look over the whole sky, and you've got to look at lots of radio frequencies at the same time. It's an enormous job.
I mean, if we got a signal, how would we actually recognise it was an intelligent signal rather than something else?
You wouldn't easily recognise it because it might well have come from a radio station, a taxi or anything. You've got to have all the radio receivers that you can assemble together, 1 million of them perhaps, all working together, and the computer has to search all the way through the outputs of all these to see if there's something unusual. It's got to record all the television, all the taxi radio, everything, disregard those, and that's such a big job you can only do it using a computer.
So it's really only been possible in the last few years or so?
It's only possible if you use a computer.
This sounds a very big sort of project. Who's organising this sort of thing?
The radio receiver's being built in America. We've got a prototype with us at the moment which has got 65,000 radio channels. They're going to build one with 8 million.
8 million, that's incredible. But, I mean, what sort of time scale are we talking about? If we listen to signals?
I think you'll have to wait a few years before the serious search starts, and then they'll take about 5 years to run through the whole sky. So you won't get an answer tomorrow.
A pretty dedicated job. Well, that's most fascinating, Professor Smith, but perhaps I could return the favour by perhaps showing you around the spaceship. Would you like to do that?
Yes.
Right.
Would I have a chance?
Logging off, by the way. Perhaps you'd come along and sit in the control
But Your Highness, so reassuring to have someone royal driving the ship.
Such a snob.
While you're getting used to the controls, Your Grace, let's take a look at some of the current micro hits.
In Keystone Capers, a game for the Atari VCS 2000, you're a cop armed only with a truncheon, and you have to run through a department store to catch the robber. Beware of the flying Frankfurter.
Flying Frankfurters? In a department store?
Yep, and there are biplanes, and you get from floor to floor by lifts and escalators.
Another game for the Atari is River Raid. Fly your fighter over enemy territory, shooting at bridges, boats and helicopters.
You really like violent war games, don't you?
Yeah! And on this game, if you don't stop to pick up fuel, you'll crash.
For the Spectrum, this is Chucky Egg.
Oh, Egghead, I like this one.
Clamber up the ladders to get to the different levels of the hen house to collect up the new-laid eggs and corn.
Cluck, 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 cluck.
But beware, killer ducks are on the rampage.
Oh, quack kill, quack kill, quack kill. Another Spectrum game with a stupid name is Cookie. Flour bomb the naughty ingredients into the mixing bowl.
Oh, so you're sort of computerised Delia Smith, then?
Oh, is that a compliment?
Not you. Be careful that bolts and fish heads and other nasties don't get into the mixture.
Now, here's an old arcade favourite given a new lease of life. It's Clowns for the Commodore 64. You use the paddle to control a seesaw so that a pair of clowns can leap to the ceiling of the big top and catch balloons.
This game can get pretty fast, and if you don't get the seesaw into position on time, one of your clowns will meet an untimely end. Whee! And now, Snafu.
Bless you.
Snafu's for the Aquarius. How do I describe it? A game for 1 or 2 players in which you have to carefully manoeuvre your light trail to avoid collision and instant extermination.
And that completes the entries for this mission's micro hits. Right, and now it's time for our Famous Five's verdicts on the games.
Robin, how did you find Ant Attack?
It's very good, except you've got 4 lines of vision, so it can become quite confusing.
I see. What are you trying to do?
Well, you're this little man who keeps moving around, if you can get him to go into vision. Him.
Yes.
And you've got to try and find your partner and take him to the gate.
Avoiding all the ants in the way?
Yes.
How many times can you be killed by the ants?
Well, you start off with 20 points, and every time the ants kill you, you lose a point, and when you've got no points, you restart. It's fairly good value for money, but I don't think I'd buy it.
Right, well, that's Ant Attack on the Spectrum.
Mandy's been playing Hover Bother. Was it a lot of bother then, eh?
No, I have less bother with this than you have with your spaceship.
Oh, nice one, eh? Right, what's the object of this one, Mandy?
Well, you're a man and you've just nicked the next door neighbour's mower and you go and mow the garden.
Yeah, is that all? I mean...
That's all, yeah.
Were you just gone across the flower beds there?
Yeah, that was because the other man chased me because I'd got his mower.
But are you allowed to go across the flower beds or
No.
not? So, I mean, what do you rate this game? Do you think it's quite fun?
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Then we have Mandy on the Commodore 64, playing Hover Bother.
Julia, what did you think of the Lone Raider?
I think it's good.
Do you? Why? Has it got a lot of screens?
Well, there's about 3 screens on it.
Yes.
And I think it's more interesting when you can't do it.
Oh, what do you have to do?
Well, on the first screen, there's these Daleks and they're shooting at you.
Yeah.
And you have to duck and then fire at them.
Yes.
And after that, there's the ship that comes, and you have to try and avoid it and get into this rocket. And then you get onto the second screen.
And this is the second screen? Yeah. Are you enjoying it?
Yes.
You are? Well, that's Julia with the Lone Raider.
Leslie's been playing Necromancer on his Atari 800. What's the verdict then, eh?
It's okay for what it is.
For what it is? What is it then?
All you got to do, you get 10 seeds at the start of the game.
10 seeds, right?
Yeah, and you have to plant them and they grow into trees. And you got these little goblins that look like robins running across and breaking them down.
Now, what happens when you've got the trees grown?
Well,
what's the next stage?
It goes on to another screen. You see that thing doing the boogie?
Yes,
that gives you more seeds.
Yeah, someone looks like they're doing a belly dance. Right, that one. It's quite fun, the graphics. It's very fast, isn't it?
Yeah, the graphics are good. I like it.
Have you kind of mastered it or not?
Yeah, I could, but you, no chance.
No chance, right. I thought you might say that. Smarty, right. OK, so there we have, on the Atari 800, Necromancer. And now, Stephen. This is the one I want to find out about, because this is 1648. What a funny name for a magazine.
Yes.
What does it mean?
You mean you don't know what 1648 means? And you're the captain of this spaceship?
Well, I can't know everything.
Well, I'll tell you. 1648 means that it's a magazine designed to run on the 16 or 48K spectrum.
That's all it meant?
Yeah.
Right, what was it like as a magazine? I mean, did you find it fun?
It's a little bit tedious going through the whole tape, finding out what's on it, because you can't sort of dip into it and take bits out that you want.
Mean? Right, like in a magazine when you can just go to anything.
Yeah,
you've got to go to the...
Yes,
oh,
you have,
dear.
really, yes. Unless you make a record of where everything is, like I've done here.
And what are the contents of this magazine?
The same as any normal magazine, really. Just software, like games and things that you can play. Educational software like this. This shows you the action of a 4-cylinder engine.
So it's educational.
Yes.
It's fun.
Yes.
It's got reviews, it says here.
Yes,
what are those like?
Reviews of the latest software and hardware available.
Right.
In the computer
Is
world.
there anything, if you were designing this computer magazine, what would you put in yourself?
Competitions would be good.
Right. I'll tell you what, when I next see you, have an idea about it, and we'll see if we can get our own out,
right,
perhaps.
okay,
That'd be
yes.
great. Don't tell anyone, though. So there we have it, 1648, the computer magazine.
There you are, Captain. What did I tell you? At last, a silicon superstar who can actually fly the ship. With his rollers in charge, you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Oh, no, not again. It's really too bad. I mean, I expect that sort of thing from rock stars and disc jockeys, but not from the Astronomer Royal. I mean, royalty should never fiddle with things like that. You don't get Prince Charles opening a power station and saying, I wonder what would happen if I pressed that little button, do you? Royals know better. Oh no, I've got a funny feeling in my chips. I think I'm going to crash. Abandon ship! A blonde on slip! Syntax error. A blind one slap! Syntax error. Error.